So the temptation when we find ourselves in situations where we feel that our faith is being attacked is to automatically revert to being defensive and to argue and debate to prove that we're right and the other person's wrong. And it makes sense that we feel this way because that's what the world teaches us to do. The world teaches us that it's all about being right, it's all about proving your point, it's all about winning the debate. But the kingdom of God in this situation and in many other situations doesn't really look anything like the world. In 1 Peter 3:15, it says, "Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give a reason for the hope you have." Now I know what you're thinking. Oh, that means that I get to tell them how it is, I get to lay down the law, I get to shove Jesus down their throat. No. This is not a combative command whatsoever, because if you keep reading, you'll see that it says, "But do this with gentleness and respect, keeping a clear conscience." When I look throughout the entire Bible, never once do I see God calling us to be great debaters or arguers. The call of Jesus was not to prove that Christianity is right. The call of Jesus was to make disciples of all nations. And his prayer was that all of us, that includes believers and those who have yet to hear or accept the message, all of us would be one. I don't know about you, but I think that the fastest way to isolate someone, the fastest way to separate yourself from them, is to spend all of your time proving that you're right and they're wrong. The goal is not to prove ourselves right and other people wrong, friends. I've never heard a testimony that said, "Well, I came to know God when a really smart Christian proved that he existed and I realized how wrong I was." Nor have I heard a testimony that says, "I came to Jesus when I got all my questions answered." People come to Jesus when they have an authentic experience with his grace. So when we're found in situations where we feel like our faith is being persecuted, the best thing we can do is walk into those situations with humility, love, and grace. And what that does is it opens the situation up for God's Spirit to move in and do redemptive and transformative work. To put it in simpler terms, God's Spirit is more powerful than our arguments. And no one was a better model for this than Jesus himself. After Jesus was arrested and he was brought before Pilate and before the religious leaders, he had every reason to engage them in a debate. He had every reason to prove every single one of their accusations wrong. But instead, what Jesus chose to do was he did not answer their accusations. The only thing he said was a confirmation that he is the King of the Jews, that he is the Son of God. Every other accusation, every other false word, he lets it go. He doesn't respond, and instead, he endures the persecution by walking with humility and love for us towards the cross. I believe that the writer of 1 Peter makes Jesus the example for this when he continues by saying, "For it is better, if it is God's will, to suffer for doing good than doing evil." You see, friends, it's not in the aggression against persecution, but it is in the endurance through persecution that we usher in the kingdom of God. I'm going to say that again. It's not in the aggression against persecution. It is in the perseverance and the endurance through persecution that the kingdom of God is brought here on earth. That is why in Matthew 5:10 it says, "Blessed are the persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of God." When we find ourselves in situations where we feel that our faith is being attacked, our call is to choose love and grace over debate and argument. Our call is to endure persecution for the sake of righteousness so that we might see God's kingdom come here on earth. Thanks so much for watching. Continue to use this hashtag right here to ask us more questions. Also, check out some of these videos, subscribe to our channel, email us, whatever you want to do. We just want to hear from you because we love you and you're great. Keep being awesome. See you later. That's it. Bye.